and welcome as the roll.
Come on, man.
We've changed something. Who knows what we've changed? Let's see if the comments can... Let's see who picks up on what's missing from this image, which has thrown me so much that I don't know what we're doing. The first ever AEW title change has taken place. I was baffled by that too, but actually we've just had inaugural champions be crowned. This one is the actual first title change, and thank God it's happened, because I told you so, folks. And no, I'm Ollie Davis. This is Luke Owen. Welcome to the WrestleTalk live review of AEW. Are there any audio issues?
Well, no, someone just said, I can't hear. Lol, JK, guys, nice for a change.
No mics. People are, yes, well done, and RIP Larry Fisherman.
Yep.
Jobber JJ, camera zoomed in.
No,
there's
mate,
no mics.
No, mate, come on. In fact, actually, the camera's in the same place it was last time.
Yes. You all think little bits of change put off YouTube viewers. We've just made a change. You didn't even know it.
Yeah.
You didn't even know.
Right, should we talk about this show
Yes.
then?
So please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave a comment down below with your thoughts on what I thought was a terrific episode of All Elite Wrestling, and get in your super chats. A lot of you have already. We'll get to those throughout the show. But first off, what a match.
Oh, it was so good.
Again, like last week's four-way tag match, which set up the number one contenders of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, was better. I thought that was a better match.
Okay.
There was just so much crazy fun going on in it. But man, this one's close. On the cruise, what an atmosphere it was.
Loved the look of the cruise as well. It had a wicked atmosphere, yeah, like you said.
And you usually think stuff outside, the reason it sounds different and feels a bit different is because there's no lid. And usually in arenas, you get, it sort of just creates a Dutch oven.
Bounces all over the show.
It's like me in bed.
No.
Hey, Anna, get a load of that. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
do to my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Do a wave machine.
Oh, yeah, she loves it. But you didn't have this here, and you get it with WrestleManias when it's outdoors, and the atmosphere can somewhat evaporate.
Because it sort of just floats out into the ether.
But here, and that's not to say it's not loud.
No.
Like, it's probably very loud in the arena, but to viewers at home, it doesn't come across like that. This episode, despite being aired on a cruise ship, I thought was it felt live.
Yeah, it did. Like the editing of the crowds was a bit problematic because this was a sweary little crowd. So the TNT executives thought, let's censor those sweary little bunch there. But apart from that, like it didn't feel like. I mean, it said live in the corner. It didn't feel like it was taped. It didn't feel like. I know they did it taped to live. And they had speculated, Meltzer and Alvarez had speculated that there was going to be some edits in there because the show had run longer than 2 hours, and because they were taping it to live, then there would have to be something cut down. But the Moxley-Pac match was in its entirety.
Oh, really? I thought there was about 4 minutes. They said there were 4 minutes.
But that spot was in there where there felt like there was some miscommunication because Pac just sort of goes up and then shrugs his shoulders because Moxley's moved to a different place, and then they just double down for ages with the referee speaking to them. So they kept it all in there apparently.
Well, we'll get into that stuff later. First, let's talk about this great match.
Oh, so good.
This excellent story told within the match, which itself is part of the best story in wrestling right now. And the Seth Rollins stuff on Monday Night Raw is close, but for me, the Page dissension in the Elite, I think it's terrific.
Yeah, my 4-minute review, which I think will be going up shortly after this has finished, I say basically the same thing. I said it's arguably the best thing that's in wrestling at the moment. And if it wasn't for the Monday Night Messiah stuff on Raw, I would say it's the most captivating story. And actually, the more I think about it, the more I think it is the most captivating story in wrestling. I thought this match just was the next brilliant chapter in this excellently told story. And the promo later, the interview segment with Tony Schiavone later, was just masterful. Hangman Page he's terrific.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me not to swear when talking about him because I love it so much. And he was phenomenal in this match.
So it was, it's a great match. And the real important part of the story was that Kenny actually was going to lose near the end of this. I think it went 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, I think, yeah.
So Kenny's nearly going to lose. He's been hit by SCU later, and Paige gets in the ring, but Scorpio Sky is stopping him. Great tag team tactics from SCU, but Paige pushes Sky over and breaks up the fall, and Kenny's just kind of still knocked out. He's selling that move brilliantly, and he rolls into the corner.
Well, he didn't roll. Paige drags him.
Oh,
Paige,
yeah.
So Paige breaks up the pin, grabs Kenny, drags him to their corner, tags himself in, lays out both Scorpio and Frankie. He does a buckshot lariat to Sky on the outside, then back in to hit a buckshot lariat on Frankie to pin him. Paige essentially won this match on his own. And I mean, we're putting over Paige a lot here. Kenny's selling of it. Kenny essentially came to hearing Hangman's music and was like, what, did we win? And you got Paige going nuts, celebrating with this belt that he has got. And then, as if it couldn't get any better than that, the Young Bucks get into the ring to celebrate with their friends. And Paige looks at them as just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then hugs them and being like, yeah, no, thank you. And then he literally says, go hug Kenny. And as soon as their backs are turned from him, runs out the ring and celebrates with the fans instead. And they're all calling for him to come back to the ring. He's like, no, I'm all good here. I'm drinking beer. I'm going to crowd surf. It was so good. It was such brilliant, subtle storytelling.
And if you haven't watched it, that kind of sounds over the top, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, what, Paige, it's, that really telegraphing that
Hamming it
breakup.
up.
And they are, like, this is, I know exactly where this is going to go, and that's awesome. But when Paige gets out into the crowd, I didn't even feel like he was doing it to annoy the Bucks. I thought, well, actually, a lot of people celebrate title wins with the fans.
Yeah.
And he keeps going back to the fans. Like, that's almost a babyface trait. Now, I'm going to celebrate with the crowd.
Yeah.
And you can almost argue, well, why isn't Kenny celebrating with the crowd? It's like neither side's wrong here.
I love this story so much. I'd say this again in my review, so I'm trying not to repeat myself too much. But what I really like about it, I can probably extrapolate on it here. You're right. Kenny and the Bucks aren't doing anything wrong. They want to celebrate with their friends. They're excited. Like during the interview, when Kenny essentially steals Paige's question, he's not doing it to be a dick. He's excited to talk about how he and his friend have just won the tag team titles. And when the Bucks show up, they don't do it to interrupt Paige's question. They do it because they want to celebrate with their friend. They're like, yes, the Elite. We have won the tag team titles. This is amazing. But Paige doesn't see it that way. And the Bucks and Kenny don't see that they're pissing him off. And it's really, really well done. And when Paige just goes, I mean, I'm really surprised that me and Kenny won these tag titles before you did. Off, just leaves. And Kenny's like, yeah, I thought it was surprising as well. But the most important thing is that we won. I'm sure that you guys will win it, eventually. Just being friends with them again, just trying to play that peacemaker. It's so good.
Yeah, and the Bucks are kind of miffed. And there's plenty of ways you can go with this. I imagine we're going to get Paige Omega versus the Bucks as the next tag title program. And you'd imagine Omega combusts with Paige in some way. That's how they can drop the belts to the Bucks without seeming weak. And I'm very excited for that feud as a singles thing. But I'm so excited for the potential of Omega caught between these two things. I've got my best friends in the Bucks, but this,
it's my tag partner.
Like last through the door, really, of the Elite. He was the most recent member. Like even Marty was in there before him, I believe. So I thought this was absolutely phenomenal. And just what incredible all-round booking. Because you have, in one storyline stroke, managed to position... I'm loving the free space we've got without the microphone. In one storyline stroke, you've managed to make the Bucks feel really important because they're essentially number one contenders. And they're affiliated with the champions now. You've made Kenny win his first gold in the promotion.
Paige as well.
Paige looks awesome. You've made the Elite look great and built it all around arguably not the weakest guy, but the least over guy. Because you look at that group, and Hangman Page is the least over one. And he did have problems in the pre-TV era.
Exactly.
He was pushed too hard. He got that Jericho inaugural championship spot that just fell a bit flat, unfortunately. But now they're using all of that to fuel this character, and it's a master stroke. You've managed to build up everyone. Everyone looks so much better coming off the back of this, and Hangman Page has gone from like here to all the way up there.
He is so over with the crowd now as well.
Yeah.
Like since this storyline has really kicked in since like him and Kenny have been tagging together. Cowboy S-word is now way more over than it was when they were trying to get it over leading up into All Out. Like when they were like, this is the big time for Hangman Page. And we, it's been very clear. The Bucks have said that Page is kind of like one of their top prospects because he's young. He didn't take the executive vice presidency sort of role that the Elite were all taking, or like a member, because he was like, no, I'm a wrestler. I've still got a lot of my years ahead of me. And they see that. And so all of that work they were trying to do leading into All Out didn't really work. But this has, because it's all about character and it's about a story, and it's a story that people can invest in. And it's why I think that people are now starting to react to Buddy Murphy. Like you look at that Raw thing, you insert him into this sort of like top level storyline and you give him this new character and these little sort of like subtle edges to it. And that makes people invested in what they do. I think it's just great stuff.
Yeah. And I guess we do have to talk about SCU. I mean, isn't that the sort of, it's an interesting footnote that SCU have lost the tag titles and they are the least interesting thing about this.
Yeah, they were not over to the level that AEW would have liked them to have been over as tag champs, and it's a shame because their in-ring work is great, and this is the most over that they've felt. But that's playing to the Jericho AEW crowd. Like that's the hardcores that are going on the Jericho cruise, as opposed to the ones who are filling out the arena or the buildings every week. And this was the most over they felt because of that audience. But they have never felt like they were tag team champions. Like I think Jericho has really worked as the AEW champion, but SCU didn't work as the tag champs, and Riho really hasn't worked as the women's championship. She did initially. She did initially, yeah, but then she had to take that sort of month and a half off. But now that the tag titles are on Omega and Page, they suddenly feel like important belts, which is good because they're gorgeous belts as well. So they're like my favorite tag titles that are the NXT UK ones. And so I'm hoping now that this can sort of really elevate those belts and make them feel important.
Yeah, and just for SCU, it seems like they were so that they weren't featured at all. Usually you focus a bit on, SCU have lost. We were the first ever tag team champions. But nope, it was all the angle between Paige, the Bucks, and Kenny, and SCU just sort of evaporated into the background.
I'm hoping that this can lead to something for them, though. Like, maybe they can try and use this as character motivation and to progress the storyline out of it. Fingers crossed.
Dark Order.
Well, maybe, because they are a really great team.
Yeah, they're a great team. I mean, I've said my piece before. I never thought they were the act to be the inaugural champions. And I feel like they've disappeared for a month, and that hasn't helped them at all. So, I told you so. It's all I wanted to say. It should have been Pentagon Jr.
There we go.
And Ray Phoenix. Before we get into your super chats...
What's that on the back screen?
Oh my God! Is that Big One Designs and Creative has nothing for you? We've got merch.
New merch. It's a new line. Because one of the problems that we had with all of our, eras 1 and 2 of the WrestleTalk merch launches is that we couldn't turn around new designs quick enough.
Another piece of merch.
we couldn't turn around things quick enough. Now we can do. So when things get organically over, like Big One and Creative,
we're going to do it to death.
We can get merchandise up on the site for you to go and buy.
Yeah, so go over to WrestleTalkMerch.com because it's not only these shirts. One of the big feedbacks we got one of the big pieces of feedback we got when we launched was, hey, that's, I love this. I love the designs. I want to support WrestleTalk, but
mama.
That's an expensive t-shirt.
Yeah.
And we were like, we went the route of 100% organic, sustainable cotton, and we went premium, and we've gone back to the suppliers, and we've worked out a thing. They're all £19 now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are some great quality t-shirts. Unfortunately, one of the things we had to drop, because I imagine a lot of people are like, oh man, I bought a t-shirt for full price. You will have the print in the back of the WrestleTalk logo. No one else will have that now.
Yes, that's
too expensive.
That's OG stuff.
At least you've got something.
Collector's item.
So there are 3 links at the top of the video description below, which go directly to these product pages. Support the channel and have a big one.
Have a big one.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
I feel like we should give him a kickback or something for coming up with that. But yeah, let's get into your super chats.
As the Colostopia on this main topic said, I loved the look on Kenny's face when he realized they won.
The guy's an actor.
Yeah.
He's just such a good performer. Like, imagine getting all of that in one package. He can act really well. He's a superb athlete. Wrestling psychology is world class, and he can talk.
Yeah.
That's so rare.
Well, I mean, and you said that he's such a great actor, so you tell me, what is going through his mind when he's walking through Shibuya really bored? What shall I have for dinner tonight?
Do I need to pick up anything? Oh, I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't. His music's so good as well.
Yeah, it's great.
And it starts off with, well, it's going to take a while to get home, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I think the tube's going to be quite busy, actually, at this hour.
Just generally, AEW related, Jessie Venable says, number one, this was Priscilla's debut, so I made sure to rewatch her entrance a good few times. Cool. And number B, I love this recurring joke.
Oh, look at this. Why do I get depressed when I see Omega's entrance video?
Yeah, because I think because he made that when he thought, my grand idea is to be rubbish.
my grand idea is to not be the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, and now he's fixed that, and he's incredible and much better because of it. But yeah, this is a holdover. I really hope he drops that intro soon.
I thought they had. I thought they weren't just putting any focus on it, but they did this week. General WrestleTalk related, Duffs says, so happy to see Adam yesterday. His videos helped me through a very rough patch a few years back. I hope this isn't the last we see of him.
Well, that's Adam Blompier. If you didn't see the video that went up yesterday, he very kindly agreed to come on and do a bit of fantasy booking for this weekend's Royal Rumble with me.
Because we were all too busy.
It was really fun. It was a fun day.
Yeah.
Flame Inc. Live, Adam looked really nervous. I hope he had fun. We did have fun.
We did have fun.
And I hope you guys gave him the option to come in for videos or pay-per-view live stream reactions whenever he wants. We haven't really talked about that. It was just a one-off for now.
Yeah.
Bobo Jacobo, thanks for the title spoiler. I appreciate it. And then like a sort of emoticon
unamused.
It's
an unamused emoticon.
It's actually the expression that Kenny Omega has when he starts off.
Sorry, we don't mean to make light of what you were saying, but we figured it happened 2 days ago. It had already been reported elsewhere, and it's a review that's.
Well, we've been talking this over. Part of we are a wrestling news thing. And we're gonna talk about stuff, you know. So, yeah, I think if you're that concerned about a spoiler, just don't go on YouTube and disable notifications for a day. That's what I used to do. I used to be able to avoid spoilers. So let's get on with the rest of the review. We're on a boat.
We're on a boat.
We're on a boat.
On a boat.
And what a glorious boat it was.
Loved it so much.
We've already talked a bit about the atmosphere and the crowd, but just like having everyone there, 2 decks, there's a hot tub. Just like some people had to stand around a hot tub that was covered up.
Yep.
And I was so excited when I saw this at the start. A pool.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because that was Chekhov's pool.
It reminds me of the old Nitro Spring Break episodes, which always looked like so much fun. And this, I know you could never do it. It made me want to go on the Jericho cruise.
Yeah, it really made me want to do it.
And you literally cannot do it.
We were talking about the awkwardness of a very sweary crowd and the, rightly, because, F you chants kept on happening.
F your boat, because a boat pulled in and blocked the view for the main event.
Like, what were they expecting? A drunk crowd of wrestling fans
who've been there for a couple of days.
For a couple of days, of course, they're going to swear and do excellent chanting. If a boat has the audacity to pull up beside your boat, I'm going to chant F your boat.
Oh, yeah. And if I was part of that crowd, I'd be like, this is so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And particularly then when the people who were on the main boat started chanting, our boat's better. If I was part of that boat, I'd be like, yeah, our boat is better. I wouldn't be thinking about these poor TNT editors that are back in the States being like, how the hell are we going to get around this?
We often mock we often take against tribalism, particularly in the AEW NXT war, but sometimes it's fun. And that's when it's so, what's the word?
Silly.
Insignificant and silly. It's fine. But there is an easy way around this. You mic the announcers separately from the crowd. And if you get a really close mic, it won't pick up much of the crowd noise. So when the crowd are chanting, you just duck the crowd noise as opposed to also the commentators.
Yeah.
It was like going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
And you had like
Losing
phone
signal.
reception.
Yeah.
So what talk? Someone would be talking on commentary, but they'd have to cut those guys out because of what the crowd is saying. And so it's the first time they've done it.
But also, I mean, we did a video on Tuesday where we had no audio for 10 minutes, so, glass houses and all that. They have said, Cody said they're going to be part of the Jericho Cruise next year, and they're going to do it live next year. So rather than tape in advance, like they did this time, they're just going to air it live on the cruise.
Well, you've got one under your belt now, so plenty of time to prepare. Blimey, it was windy. That was the other thing I was going to point out.
When Pac was climbing up to that top rope, I was like, oh, it is windy up there.
Justin Roberts opens the show, and his big, luxurious linen trousers are just flapping
all
like
over the
MC
show.
Hammer. And I think like Britt Baker was trying to celebrate, and her hair was just going like this on her.
She took her jacket off and flew away in the
I'm
wind.
surprised like when Pac does the black arrow, just doesn't fly off. But it was great, really rowdy crowd.
Yeah.
It felt special. Like it felt unique. When I was watching it, I was having so much fun. It felt live. I just thought, I'm like, this. I'll look back on this. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic by saying this. I'll look back on this in 10 years and go, man, they did a show on a boat.
Well, we were just talking about how like a show on a boat.
They did a show on a boat.
A showboat.
It was a showboat.
It's right there. We just started talking then, was like, oh man, the spring break episodes of Nitro. Those are the ones that you really remember. You don't remember like the buildings they were in Minneapolis or Bumble F, whatever. You remember those spring break episodes because of how unique they looked and because someone always went in a pool.
Yeah.
So here, these would be one of those things that would be like 10 years' time, you'd be like, oh man, the boat episodes of Dynamite, those ones I always really remember. MJF went in a pool.
I used to look forward to those every year.
I'm going to look forward to this one next year, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, after the excellent opening tag with just fantastic storytelling through it, we got Britt Baker versus Priscilla Kelly.
So I think this is the first, I couldn't quite work out if this is their first singles match, or if she might have had like a tag match on Dark or something. But this is certainly sort of like first singles action since the all-out Casino Battle Royale that they had last year.
Yeah, so Baker turned heel over the course of an ad break, it seemed.
Yeah, well, it was in her baby. That's what I really liked about this. She turned heel in her babyface comeback because she was playing 100% babyface at the start of this. She was doing all of the usual Britt Baker babyface stuff, and then she was worked over a lot. That was mostly during the ad break. And then when it came time to do her babyface comeback, she grabbed Kelly by the hair to yank her down, and then still made her babyface comeback, as if to say, no, I'm not a heel, I'm not cheating, but I did get the win. So then when Tony comes down to interview her afterwards, he's like, I don't think we, a lot of us in the commentary booth there didn't really approve of your methods there. I was like, don't question my methods. No, my methods are fine. So this is the Bayley heel turn, right? Where it's like, no, I'm still a babyface.
Yeah, totally.
But also I'm definitely 100% a heel now.
Yeah, it's consistent with what's been going on with her in backstage bits over the last couple of weeks. And I think the first version of her didn't connect with anyone. So, yeah, let's turn her heel. Let's see how that works. I enjoyed her promo, actually.
I really enjoyed it, yeah.
She got an FU chant. Somehow...
She picked on Tony.
I somehow missed the whole story that Tony Schiavone legit applied to work in Starbucks as a barista.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just her, making fun of, hey, no, you definitely worked as a barista.
No,
a very bad one as well, by all accounts.
In 2016, there was a Pro Wrestling Sheet report with an interview with Tony where he's gonna go to Starbucks to because they've got good perks, and he'll do a bit of sort of local sports announcing on the side.
Well,
so she brought that up, and it's that sort of crowd, so they knew about that. They're smarter than us.
Yeah.
And what I didn't like though was she was starting to get some good heat. This was a heel turn. And then JR just spoke over her and said, we've got to go to commercial.
Well, this makes me think it's part of that editing. Because they taped longer. Because I think what Alvarez and Meltzer said in their recap of it, because they were there on the boat. I'm on a boat. Was that when the main event started, they've been going for 2 hours. And if that main event was like 15, 20 minutes, that's 20 minutes worth of content you've got to lose somewhere. And I guess this was one of the areas where they thought we can lose something here.
It's not a good look.
I didn't think it was good either.
Because, you know, AEW's women's division has been very lackluster, and everyone's criticised it as such, and they had an opportunity to do the first majorly engaging story point here of the year, and they undermined it a bit, I think.
Yeah.
However, the next thing was all-out glee. It's Jurassic Express. Why can I not say that? Versus Santana, Ortiz, and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's entrance was godlike.
It was magnificent. Yeah, and he is. It's the Jericho Cruise. It's Cruise's Jericho. These are his people. And they did welcome him like he was the second coming.
He's the Great Gatsby in this scenario.
Yeah, and they were singing along with his entrance music. Even when the music faded down, they carried on singing it because they really like that one good Fozzy song. Say it every time.
It was so cool. It was so cool. And you could tell he was smiling.
Yeah.
He was trying to heal it up. But that must have been amazing for him.
Yeah.
This is my house, my party. I'm the champion for the promotion.
This is my
I've helped
boat.
build. Just mega respect to the guy.
Yeah.
But then Jurassic Express, we all know they're great. But when they started doing their three-way offense back on the Inner Circle, I really realized you are unlike anything.
Yeah, right?
I've never seen this sort of split of body types and styles that all work together in this cartoony mesh. It's absolutely incredible.
And it feels genuine.
Yeah.
Like, I know they are all friends in IRL, but it does feel like that as characters, they belong together. It's quite remarkable. I saw someone tweet it. It's one of those things where Twitter says, hey, X, Y, and Z that you follow also follows this person, so you might also enjoy their opinion. And I actually did like their opinion, which was, I don't know what it is, but Jurassic Express continue to be my favorite thing on this show every single week.
Yeah.
I know when they come out, I get excited now when a Jurassic Express match gets announced, whether that's singles, whether it's a tag, whether it's a six-man. I'm just excited to see them out there. I love watching their entrance, love watching Luchasaurus be just so gosh darn handsome and brilliant. I think Jungle Boy is so awesome. And I might get some heat for this. I enjoy Marco Stuntman.
I exactly the same. He's really won me over.
He's a brilliant comedy character. And like, he's someone who knows what he is. Like, his pants have got the Rugrats logo on them. Like, he knows. He's Tommy Pickle. He knows what his character is. And he's worked that in, and I think his comedy spots work so well against everyone else on the roster. They're
booking him to perfection. Same with Orange Cassidy, in that this is offense that won't actually really work. So within this kayfabe world, yeah, his punches just wouldn't really connect as much or have as much impact. But they somehow managed it, and it's genius. They made me not buy into every near fall with Jericho near the end, but I was excited by them.
So with the crowd, when he hit that 450, and bearing in mind, he's like, $150 soaking wet. With that strong wind, I was like, he's going well overboard.
He took off the light. He wore a life jacket at the start.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And he hits the 450 on Jericho. The crowd are up on their feet. He was so over. In a match that had Chris Jericho in it on Jericho's Cruise, he felt like he was more over than Jericho at some points.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of... Because this is the best Jurassic Express match I've ever seen as a six-man. And I think a lot of that was down to the Inner Circle, just because they gave them so much. This was the Jurassic Express show, and I loved it for it. Inner Circle didn't lose anything. Jericho, just clotheslined, I think, stumped for the win. But by this point, Jungle Boy...
Judas
it was the Judas effect. See, what a move. Because Jungle Boy was outside, and very interesting, Luchasaurus had started brawling with Jake Hager up the ramp.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the most physical we've seen Hager so far.
Yeah, I think he's done some stuff with Dustin as well. I think, yeah.
But
yeah, one of my favorite spots in this match, apart from all the Marco and Jungle Boy stuff, which I thought was awesome, it was when Ortiz tried to do his back rake on Luchasaurus, and it had no effect. So Luchasaurus just turned around, looked at this tiny man, and headbutted him.
Yes.
And Ortiz did the big wacky comedy sell. Like, what I love about Santana and Ortiz is Santana feels so serious. Like, he is a serious, legit wrestler. But Ortiz is this wacky comedy sidekick that's doing the big, weird facial expressions. He's doing the very silly moves, like he does a falling headbutt that counts as a pin.
Yeah.
But yet they never feel like he doesn't damage Santana, and Santana doesn't damage him. They just mesh together so well. And Ortiz's wacky comedy selling is so entertaining.
And Ortiz just feels a bit scary as well.
Yeah,
He feels unhinged and violent.
Yeah.
I always got that impression from Homicide as well. But both former LAX faction members. Inner Circle win, and of course Y2J celebrates a little bit of bubbly, which was to a huge pop. Then we got a really good video package.
Yeah, really good.
For MJF versus Cody. And all it did was kind of break the story down into all the individual challenges. Cha-chung, stage 1.
Yeah.
You have to beat Wardlow in a steel cage. Cha-cha-chung, stage 2. You have to get whipped 10 times.
Yes. Or stage 1s, you can't be touched by it.
Sorry.
Because I thought the second stage was when they're putting over the solid steel cage as this real big, holy F, you have got to tune in because they're going to do a solid steel cage. Like it felt like,
I'm into it.
I'm really into it. And like when they kept repeating that phrase over and over again to get it over, I thought it was a really effective build for this cage match. It's Wardlow's in-ring debut for AEW. They're really making a big deal out of this. And, as they should. I thought it was great.
It's going to be interesting to see how they sort of protect him in defeat, because I imagine Cody would win going into the pay-per-view, or maybe he doesn't, as a sort of...
He does like putting people over.
Yeah. But this was a very well put together video package, so top marks there. And it went straight into MJF versus Joey Janela in MJF's best wrestling performance so far.
Yeah, it was great.
This was incredible. The ad, go into an ad break, come back. Joey Janela's just praying to a guy dressed as Jesus in the crowd, which was a fun visual.
Did you hear in the main event? I know this mostly from like what happened on the show, but also from the report that I'd heard that when Pac had Moxley in the Brutalizer, a lot of the crowd bought that as the finish. So when Moxley escaped, they started chanting "Thank you, Jesus," because that guy was dressed as Jesus on the other side, who then stood up, which is why everyone goes, "Hey!"
But yeah, this was where a lot of the censorship of the crowd came in, the "F-U MJF" chants. But just MJF, people have said it again and again and again. Man, what a good heel! And I've only ever seen it in his heel promos. Just because when he gets in the ring, I've gotten a bit of a Miz vibe from him. But this match,
he hates the Miz.
He was on. I love the Miz, but he is a certain kind of performer, a bit of a campy, theatrical performer.
I know.
Very WWE style.
I know.
And MJF, I thought was just a very good promo guy. I haven't really seen enough of him in the ring to know what that's all about. Here, now I know. This is like, he did all the bits that Bully Ray used to do.
Yeah.
The walking around the ring, trash talking fans, and everyone's like, just get in the ring, mate, wrestle him. And he finally gets in the ring, rolls out again. Yeah. Just all that classic heel tactics. And he's put them all in a melting pot. Randy Savage used to do this as well as a heel. I wrote down a few other names. Oh, The Miz. But it feels like he's gone back and taken all of these heel things, put it in a melting pot, and now he does them all. Yeah. He's like the Citizen Kane of heels.
I was going through his Twitter feed earlier because I was trying to find that screenshot of when he buried me on Twitter, which was brilliant, by the way. A lot of people were like, you got owned. I was like, I literally set him up for it.
Yeah.
Like, if you replied to MJF, you replied to MJF in the hope that he retweets you making fun of you.
Maybe
that's how you got to do it, man. That's the only way to get it. Because I don't think Punk's going to reply.
Hey.
Apart from on text message when you text him all the time about the fans.
We're best friends.
Yeah, totally. But I was going through, and he had this. He had a clip from Dynamite where, like, I can't remember who it was, but someone was doing sort of like big flips and stuff. And he literally was like, so Canadian Destroyer didn't work, eh? So the flips didn't work, did they?
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's a brilliant old school heel.
Yeah, and I was thinking, is this working so well because it's him and it's his performance? Or is it because no one else is like that in this promotion?
I think it's a look from column A, look from column B. Really do.
But yeah, he spits in Joey's face at one point, pulls Aubrey in front of him. Just every spot was a classic heel move.
The perfect ref to do it with as well, because the crowd every crowd loves Aubrey. So it's the perfect. She's a great babyface ref to his heelness. And then the finish saw Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford come out to cause the distraction by doing a smooch, and Joey just like misses his like elbow drop or something, double crossed by MJF for the win. And they were putting over commentaries like, I wouldn't be surprised if MJF had paid them off.
Yeah. Just like he did with the Bunny, the Butcher, and the Blade.
Indeed.
And then it was already great. MJF grabs a mic and then starts making fun of Cody's very good promo from last week. And he had the perfect rebuttal to that fantastic line of, you're not my story. This isn't your story. You're just a chapter in mine, Cody said. And MJF said, yeah, you're right. I'm your final chapter.
Oh, so good. Brings out Cody. MJF reminds him, is like, you can't touch me. And it's like, oh, you can't touch me, but you can say something if you want. Goes to hand him the microphone. As Cody puts his hand up, drops it. And Cody looks at him and is like, So he bends down to pick it up. MJF just kicks it away from him. And I was like, you dick.
I know.
Oh, you dick.
And the crowd were chanting asshole as well.
Yeah.
They're like, and you know, and I don't know how he does it, because someone else, Kevin Owens, does this. It's funny.
It's funny, and the crowd pops.
Yeah, and you're a cool heel. But something about him, and a lot of it is also to do with who he's up against with Cody, who's just a fantastic babyface.
Your brother.
He's my brother. And it works to perfection. They're getting the reactions they want.
Yeah, completely. But Cody picks up the mic and says, I don't know if you can hear it, but the crowd are calling you an asshole. Also, yeah, I can't touch you, but that doesn't mean that they can't. And the Young Bucks come out from behind, and they super kick MJF. Wicked sell by MJF, just like there's a big flat back bump. And then they drag his ass and throw him in the pool.
Yes! You know it's happening. MJF's down. The Bucks are dragging him towards the pool. I'm like, okay, he's going in the pool.
Yeah.
And then he went in the pool, and I was so happy.
Oh.
It hit me by, it just washed over me. I was like, yes, he's in the pool.
They threw him in the pool. From the live report, I was gutted this didn't make TV, but one of the, Meltzer and Alvarez in their report was that he got out of the pool and starts mouthing off at a fan that's at ringside, because he's like, will you stop laughing at me because I fell in the pool, and then took a pratfall and fell back in the pool again. What a brilliant heel. Because how just made the guy go, you fell in the pool, you big div.
He's something else.
So good.
Then we got an advert for the Jericho Cruise. I want to go to the next one.
Can you, okay, so you got seasick on a pedalo. When was the last time you actually were on a boat?
I just don't go. Yeah. I tried to read comments on the way home in an Uber last night, and I got quite sick, and I had to put my phone down. Get motion sick. That booze does seem to be one of the only things that minimises
sort of like,
it. So I could just do the whole weekend.
Have you tried travel sickness pills?
Yeah.
Because my wife gets really travel sick. But like travel sickness pills, apart from when it makes her fall asleep, basically. But no, you don't want to fall asleep on the Jericho Cruise, I suppose. You miss out on all the fun.
Probably have my eyebrows shaved as well. Yeah. All the hijinks they'll get up to there.
Ollie Davis once got travel sickness playing Mario Kart for the SNES.
It's just the way the background moves. Then we had the interview with Omega Page and the Young Bucks. Then we got our main event, which Jericho comes out for to sit on the commentary desk. And the crowd they just adore this guy. And he is the best thing in this match.
Yeah, he was great.
It was a good match. Wasn't crazy good, I thought.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
But Jericho on commentary, I said it about Omega earlier with like, how can you beat this, and this all in one person? Jericho, just look at this. All of those different gimmicks. He's just a merchandise machine with catchphrases. He, at this age, he's made himself incredibly relevant and is one of the main difference makers in this Wednesday Night War. This is his boat thing. He's an entrepreneur and a businessman in that respect. He's got a band as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're all those things, and here I am thinking, you should also probably be a commentator as well. You're that good.
Yeah, it's really.
You should just be a commentator.
He has got a future career. Like when he does finally retire, like he has got another 20, 30 years behind that commentary desk. Probably even more than that. Like Jerry Lawler levels of like, you're never leaving this commentary desk.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so good. And he's because he's very funny, he's very naturally witty, and he knows what to get over. There's this line in this match when he says, look, what you got to understand, Moxley, every time Moxley moves, it hurts his eye. It's not just when Pac targets it. And all of a sudden, my mind now feels Moxley's pain with everything he does.
Yeah.
It's not just the eye bits that I'm flinching at. And Jericho delivered that line to have that impact on me and still turned it in a joke against Moxley because he's kind of feuding with him. Made Pac look good at the same time. I'm floored, really, by his talent.
I also loved how much, because he was very much, this was a foregone conclusion that Moxley was winning, really. But he was still trying to get Pac over as a potential challenger. And he was like, don't worry, because all of his attacks were focused, Jericho's attacks were focused on Moxley.
Yeah.
But he would say, don't worry, I've also got a plan for Pac when he wins. Because I know how to also beat Pac, because he's going to win. And every time Moxley was on top, he'd start shouting at Paul Turner, the referee. It's like, Paul Turner, you idiot, stupid son of a bitch. Why are you admonishing him for this? It was really, really great stuff. But he was just excellently furthering that feud with Moxley, which then when Moxley wins at the end, does make you be like, oh man, I want to see Moxley get his hands on Jericho now after what they did to the eye. Thought Pac was really good in this match, working over the eye. And he was adjusting his usual moveset to hurt the eye. They did a moment when they did a jawbreaker spot, but rather than do a usual jawbreaker, he made it target the eye. It was really great stuff, man.
It's a great attention to detail, yeah. There was some really good near falls near the end as well. It did lose its way. I feel
like they lost communication.
There was, and the crowd just
were distracted
and a bit burnt out. The money shot was really the opening match.
Yeah.
And that's all well and fine to do those things. I would like to see some of these great tag matches start main eventing the show. But maybe, I don't know, it's a difficult balance to strike, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm guessing they put the tag match on first because it makes you want to stick around, because it's a tag title match and you see the boat and it looks wicked, so you're like, okay, I'm going to stick around for this. But as you say, there is also that argument that you could start with Moxley Pac and be like, oh my god, this is two ginormous stars in this company are opening this show. The boat looks wicked, I'm going to stick around to watch more of it.
I mean, if looking at it actually, I just have a co-main event where those two matches directly follow each other. Don't really know the order. I'll probably put the tag match on second.
Yeah.
And then I would have the Jurassic Express in a circle match open the show.
That's brilliant, because you got Jericho in there, and Jericho's going to come out first as well.
Really splitting hairs though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great stuff. But the finish of the match was Pac ripped the bandage off, but Mox hit the paradigm shift for a win. Pac took it like a champ.
Absolutely,
went down at a sort of high angle.
Yeah.
Underneath Mox's eye patch was another tiny eye patch.
Well, Jericho did say it's not just the bandage, he's got an eye patch under there. Also, he wore that the entire time. They said that people saw him in the airport, before he was even flying out for it, and he was wearing the eye patch with the bandage. He wore it all throughout the plane. He's worn it all across the cruise. He's Sandmanning this, where I'm going to live this injury because that's the way to get the injury over.
And I'm really grateful for that, because I saw shots, people were posting stuff like this on Twitter of them seeing him at the airport with the eye patch. I saw him do the karaoke, he's got the eye patch on. I'm like, this is all fun, good old kayfabe, someone's keeping it alive. It's just a nice little thing in the background that doesn't inform anything. But in the match, it actually made me buy into it more.
Yeah.
So it does have an effect. How you conduct yourself as a character around these wrestling shows. Actually, there's a lot to be said for the old ways. When you go onto Twitter and start as a heel and you start applauding certain, charitable causes, yeah, it does actually, somewhere in the back of my head, I think it does make me believe in you less as a character.
Yeah. But yeah, my note for this match, to go back to it, was it's a really good match let down by a distracted crowd. Because this was a distracted crowd. They were distracted by the other boat, distracted by the fans from the boats, they were distracted by Jesus, they were distracted by the wind, they were just sort of distracted by everything, which is a bit of a shame. But it finished off with Jericho and Moxley having a stare-off, so that match is now confirmed and set for Revolution.
Yeah. And it looks like a stacked show next week. What was on it?
Oh, so next week we have got Darby Allin and Private Party versus the Inner Circle, which is again Jericho and Proud and Powerful. The Young Bucks versus Butcher and the Blade, and Kip Sabian versus Cody.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Kip Sabian and Cody. Yeah,
That's
totally.
like, out of those matches, they all sound pretty good, but Kip is fantastic. Hasn't been given a chance to really show what he can do on AEW yet. He had that fantastic Sammy Guevara match on the pre-show.
The first ever singles match.
Yeah, really, really good. And, you know, Cody hasn't wrestled since
I'm sure
the Butcher and the Blade match.
Oh, I suppose,
Was that this year? Or was I can't remember.
Can't remember now, yeah.
Feels like I haven't had him for ages. Anyway, I thought, you know, 4 out of 5, very high 4 out of 5.
I've said the same thing. Very high 4 out of 5. Love the show.
I don't know what could have happened, but you know, when you're thinking, was it a 5 out of 5 show?
I'll tell you exactly what it would have been. To have seen MJF fall in the pool a second time.
Yes!
That's what would have pushed it over to the 5 out of 5.
Well, let's do your super chats. Keep getting them in because we'll be doing them until we run out. Oh, no, wait. Patreon shoutouts.
Oh, yes. I haven't put them in the folder there because I got so distracted by...
I'll do some super chats first, and then we'll do a few Patreon shoutouts. Train24. I love MJF, but am I the only one who looks at him, his mannerisms, his attire, and his hair, and thinks, get this, peak Miz?
Oh, peak Miz. Bloody hell.
People tend to forget what a great heel he was and is becoming again. #Support WrestleTalk. Thank you for the support. I would say Miz has been a fantastic heel since 2016.
Yeah.
Like, that talking smack era of Miz, that's what made him... Oh, I guess you mean because he's just properly turned heel again.
Yeah, because he had that babyface run, which actually was surprisingly good, because his first babyface run was a train wreck.
I never thought he was a heel. I wouldn't say he was a great heel back in the day, but he really found his heel footing in 2016.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look at MJF and I think he is a more complete performer than Miz, even at this young age, because he can... His heel wrestling tactics are better.
Yeah, I know, I completely agree. I think he is a more... I think he's a more complete heel. Yeah, I really do.
Christian Baltimore. We setting up for a Young Bucks versus Omega Hangman tag match at the next pay-per-view? Gotta be.
Gotta be. I think it's gotta be, yeah. I think they're gonna...
What a show.
Which is gonna be... I just think that match could be the show stealer as well.
Cody MJF, Jericho Moxley, and the Young Bucks versus Omega and Page.
Yeah.
Oh. The Zornice. JR without a hat for the first time in years. Sort of big smile emoji. Heel wind. Did he wear a hat? Did it blow it off?
No, I think he just didn't have his hat on. And I think they're making a very, very good joke that I wish I'd have thought of, because that's a very funny way to open the show.
He was more appropriately dressed this week. Bit of a jazzy show.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, when Tony Schiavone got in the ring, he was full on shorts and sandals.
Yeah, well, you know, they're on a boat, they're on a cruise.
On a boat. Let's do these Patreon shout-outs now they're in.
Indeed.
Take it away, brother.
Yeah, so head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to become one of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon. And at the $25 and above amount, you get your own personal shout-out on the WrestleTalk live episodes done by these two handsome chaps. You also get extra bonus content like our Drunk podcast, which is going to record next week, and Royal Rumble 2001, which we still haven't finished yet, but we're very close to finishing, and we are going to hopefully finish it this week.
Yes.
We're hoping to get it live on Friday. So yeah, definitely. And it's good. I was watching the show. It's hands down my favorite Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
I love the 2018 one where Nakamura won, and I said that was the best Rumble since 2001. But rewatching 2001, it's the greatest Rumble of all time.
Yeah, easily said. Also, you know, I'm going to do it again. Wrestle League.
Tempting fate.
The current season concludes with Royal Rumble, but the next season also begins with it. And our Patreons, we've invested your money in a fancy web portal to be able to... It's not that fancy. It's a very standard, basic web portal.
But it's functional.
Yeah, functional. Isn't that consistent, functional?
Exactly.
That's the reputation we want.
On the podcast today, we came up with the new tagline for the WrestleTalk, which is WrestleTalk, more consistent than ever.
Yeah.
And what's more consistent than being borderline fine?
Yeah. So we are just making sure it's 100% functional. Or, you know, I'll be happy with 82. 82% functional. I'm cool with that. We'll push it out.
Yeah.
You guys find the flaws. And hopefully we'll be able to announce that and open it to everyone in tomorrow's WrestleTalk show. But yes, thank you very much. Becky's favourite brother, James Lynch.
Nice.
Woo.
Yes, lovely stuff. Vita Ventura, Pet Detective.
Whoa, yes, nice one. More news at 11. Atheist News.
More news, indeed. The Hunter, Tyler Bailey.
Woo! Sayonara, Cheney Grant.
Yeah. Golden, Nick Holden.
Oh, yeah. He's one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Ket. Whoa.
Jordan, don't you dare call me Mountain Dew.
Whoa! Don't call me Junior. Kevin Foster Jr.
Yeah. In my veins, Viper Alistair.
What does it mean? All-star Chuck Turner.
Yeah, well,
An
as an all-star, like as in your chucks. All right. Yeah. And lastly, Finding Jory D-Bone, or Boone. Bone, I think it is.
That's a bad name.
What, Finding Jory?
Yeah, I guess, maybe it's better. Back to the super chat. Colostopia. Can't wait for the pop that Marco gets when he has his first big win. #Showboat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was like the Jungle Boy thing. Like when Jungle Boy first got his win, that really felt like a big moment that he picked up his first win in AEW. It makes more sense, like, and it's a more serious thing when Jungle Boy does it, but you take it down the real comedy route with Marco.
Yeah, but comedy route can sometimes become quite emotional and sincere as well. I'm thinking Santino in that Elimination Chamber, how everyone got behind him. But Mikey Whipwreck in ECW. Yeah. That's a great story arc if you go back. So it should hold off for a year and then build a lot more around it as well.
I was thinking about Marco on the way in today. I was meant to bring this up earlier because I was listening to the Arn Anderson podcast they did about the Royal Rumble, where he said that he's not. It was talking about Mizdow, and he was talking about how, like, 20 years ago I'd have really hated Mizdow because it's kind of making fun of the business a little bit. But now, as I'm a bit older, I can appreciate the entertainment side of it, and it's the fans really got into it. Same thing with Santino, and I was thinking about that. Like I never liked Santino. I never liked him as a comedy character. I hated the Cobra. I hated his promos. Apart from the Tea Party that he did with Vladimir Kozlov, I never liked the Santino segment.
Good.
But you cannot argue that kid was over. He was so over with that crowd, and I think it's the same thing with Marco. I think you might not like Marco's stunt because you say, like, well, I don't believe it's not believable, it's this, that, and the other. But you cannot deny he's over, and the crowd love the things that he does.
Definitely. Jobber JJ496, heart emoji, MJF going into the pool, can't beat Nash jumping himself into the pool, crying with laughter emoji, had so much fun watching a wrestling show, AEW is cool, wearing sunglasses emoji.
It is cool.
Yeah. Someone needs a sign. AEW is cool. Patrick Eddy, taking my dad to see AEW next week, fellas. He doesn't like AEW, says it's too spot-based. I wonder if seeing it live will change his mind. What do you think? Keep up the good work, guys. #Happy birthday, Pete.
Oh, I think if you are in the it's too spot-based mindset, I think you're never going to get out of that. Like, okay, Jim Cornette's never going to change his mind on the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Marco Stunt. And I think there are some people who are just, if they have decided that something is too spot-based, they won't, I don't think they're going to change their mind on that.
It could go one of two ways. He could actually hate it because that side is more emphasized in the live event experience, or he could actually go, actually, this is really fun, because house shows tend to be. Josh the Dominics.
Do you want me to do this so you can have a quick civil war?
Well, you can jump on in the next bit.
Okay.
The most interesting part of Hangman's story is that he seems to genuinely like tagging with Kenny. Yes. His problem seems to be with the Bucks and Cody.
And then when the Bucks get in, that makes him sort of annoyed at Kenny a little bit for kind of buying into it. You're absolutely right there. That's a really, really nice bit of detail. Yeah. Love that. The Adnap2 says, so far in AEW, Jericho has brought out a goat and fought on a boat. We now must wait until the score is tied to see him take on Chris Benoit as a blushing bride.
Very good callback.
Thank you.
Well done, the Adnap2.
That was excellent, the Adnap2. Chris Thorne, been a while since I could watch live. I'm badly ill this week. Can you suggest good British crime dramas not named Broadchurch? #recovery with the boys.
Well, Luther.
Get better soon, Chris.
Yeah, get better soon. Luther, not the Nightmare Collective one.
Yeah, I don't watch...
Justin!
I don't really watch British TV, so sorry about that. Six Finger Jake, who would you have return at the Rumble to get your biggest personal pop ever? For me, it's Punk or Edge.
I don't want Punk to return in the Rumble.
No, I want Edge to return.
Yeah, Edge for me.
Yeah. DCF, how do you have a goat of wrestling? Y2J how do you have the GOAT of wrestling, Y2J, making his return?
No. YouTube, making his return. The GOAT of wrestling YouTube. The GOAT of wrestling YouTubers.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, for some reason I read that as Y2J. How do you have the GOAT of wrestling YouTube make his return in 82 years without promoting it? Still didn't see the rest of the video because I'm still in awe. And then the mod comment is not sure what this one's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I think we didn't advertise the Adam Blompier thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just thought it would be a nice treat. Yeah. You know? It was fun to do.
Nate Drop Surname says, Punk also wants Keith Lee to win the Rumble. CM Punk is best friends with Ollie confirmed.
We were texting about it. Well, yeah. I was texting him about it. I mean, I was tweeting him about it. But he replied by saying he agrees.
Yes, completely. He sent you a video of
him
on backstage. Chester Boykins says, I'll be at the Rumble. Look for the sign. Support WrestleTalk.
Thank you very much, Chester.
Thank you very much indeed. The Real YT says, Ollie trying seasick patches behind the ear in the US. You can get them from your doctor. See yours. YT Fisherman Life wears them. Now, if they're in the US, that might also mean they give you heart attacks, can make you fat, can give you lots of other diseases.
Yeah, side effects. You'll just smell really weird and have depression for a month.
But you can buy it just absolutely fine in your local pharmacy. Yeah. And lastly, Matt Deakins, thank you for your donation and no comments.
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to today's show. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun
with the boys.
A lot of fun with the boys.
And so much room for activities without the microphones. Go back and watch our Fantasy Booking Warfare video from yesterday. We're really happy with it. And our predictions video for the Royal Rumble podcast. If you want like sort of a more informal chat about it as opposed to the stand-up comedy version we did, we'll have that in tomorrow's podcast. We'll be back with that. And also, please do go over to WrestleTalkMerch.com. Have yourself a big one with the boys and get yourself a new t-shirt. They're only £19 now. And Creative has nothing for you. And please, press the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things and this button right here, which will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen. And that was wrestling.